Tape marker, House of the Dragon, episode 4, guys. Get right to it. Action. Happy Game of Thrones Day, everybody. What's going on, guys? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan680. And this is Alamo City Movie Talk for movie fans, guys. And happy NFL Day. NFL officially opened on Thursday with the St. Louis Rams. What tough loss for them. But the Cowboys, because I'm a huge family bred Cowboys fan here. And yeah, it's not looking good for this season, I'll say that. But just like every season, it sucks to be a Cowboys fan. Sometimes definitely does. But let's get right to it, guys. House of the Dragon, episode 4, guys, ladies and gentlemen. King of the Narrow Sea. That's the title of this episode here. And, Daemon, this whole episode, we were going to get something of Daemon, right? We were going to get something different, I thought, right? I really thought he was going to come in, be a modest kind of guy here. But that did not prove the case. He had his own intentions as usual.
I didn't think so. I thought that he was going to come in, having been recently crowned king of the Stepstones or whatever he conquered and saved them from. I thought he was going to be like, look at me now. Mm-hmm. You need to fear me. But that wasn't the case. He was like, there's only one true king. It's you. Back down. He bowed down, supposedly.
And see, he was crowned by Coilus because of the battle he went through, because of the awesome scene that we got last episode. And this episode opened up very differently, though. I really thought we were going to see Daemon in the very first episode, but we didn't. Mm-hmm. I was a little like, what are these suitors here? And come to find out, they were actually for Rhaenyra. And, and we talked about this at times. We talked about this last episode. I can't remember if it was last or the one before that. I apologize. But whenever they went hunting, when her and Sir Christian, remember I called it, I was all like, oh, there's little something there. We'll talk about that later in this episode. But, the right suitor for her, there was a joke that she mentioned, and she was just like, yeah, this guy's like older than my father. Like, what makes you, it's an insult that you think you're a suitor for me to begin with.
Yeah, and then
she's a teenager at this age.
And then the next person is a literal child.
Yeah, and she just makes another joke, like literal, like this really a child. Oh my god, like she just can't seem to find any good luck finding a suitor, at least appropriate age suitor.
And not just that, but also she very clearly ends this arrangement, right? Her father arranged this for all those suitors to be presented, make their case, and she very quickly leaves, right? Yeah, she left 2 months before she was supposed to leave and everything. And so now the question is, what happens next? Like, she's basically shown a disinterest in all these qualified suitors for her. Yeah. She makes a point. They only want her because, the blood
and the throne.
The air,
it's close to the throne.
And, so on and so forth. So, I mean, she's very frustrated. And not only that, but we see later on that makes the king frustrated, that she's not finding someone to wed.
It's also that, but I feel like they mentioned it a lot of times in this whole series, is that Rhaenyra feels very involved in a political scheme by her father. She feels like she's just a pawn in the politics side. And knowing that they were trying to wed her to this child here, who's not really a child. I mean, he's like a little boy, right? I mean, obviously he's a child. He's from an ancient house. They mentioned it. He's from an ancient house, Blackwoods, who has a very suitable army. Mm-hmm. So this is what her father set up the whole time, was like this, not seeing the age, but seeing that what he brings to the table.
What
in a
these
way.
Families suitors bring to the table.
And bring to the realm, bring to the kingdom, the crown,
It's frustrating.
Yeah, no, it really
obviously
is.
I know in the previous episode, he had mentioned, you're free to choose your own suitor, right? He's not going to tell her, right?
Yeah.
Who to marry. But at the same token, she knows that he's basically, like you say, using her. Yeah. She's still very much in his political game. Lining up these suitors.
And it was a really cool scene seeing that boy cut up that little dude, that little douche, that little a-hole of a guy that was like being a bully, and he was being a bully. I'm not gonna say he deserved to. It looked like he was gonna die. I'm not gonna say that, but he deserved to get stabbed none the least. Maybe not die, but stabbed none the least, to get to learn a lesson out of this. don't talk crap about young, and he was a young kid, a young child, and he knew how to wield that sword, obviously more than the adult. But coming into this, we see her going back to King's Landing, and we see a little essence there of Daemon. We didn't get to see if it was Daemon in the dragon.
Obviously, he had to have been on the dragon because he's back. So, we see Daemon return to King's Landing. Yeah. By way of dragon.
Yeah, it was very got very close to her ship, and it kind of she got hit a little bit. It was definitely shockwaves reigned superior here, because that dragon came in real close to them. And
Daemon probably did that on purpose.
See, and that's the thing. I was just like, dude, what a jerk.
What a jerk. But so then he returns to King's Landing, and that's where he's shown that he's been self-crowned king, or not self, but his people he saved.
Yes.
Crowned him king, right?
Crowned king. And he bends the knee, by the way. He does bend the knee.
Viserys.
But at the same time, though, I just think when he's facing down, bending the knee, I mean, call me crazy, I really believe he's just smirking like, this is all part of my plan. Like, this is my part. I'm going to get back. I'm going to think to get back to you. I'm going to get back at my brother.
Would it be anything else? Would it not be Daemon if he didn't do that?
Yeah, I mean, you're right, but it's just, he just got back, and he's already in the good graces of his majesty and Viserys, and I'm just like, Daemon, why can't you just do right by your brother? I think his lust for the crown is too much.
Yeah, he definitely.
It really is. It's
he
just
definitely can't. Yeah. He can't get past. He is no longer heir.
He just can't get past that, and he just wants the crown. He wants the power. And just to a certain degree, obviously, when they talk about the council, it's all. I mean, especially Otto. We talked about this. Otto is Littlefinger in this series. He really is. He is Littlefinger. I freaking hate it. I hate him. I do not like him because he had his own personal agenda here. But again, though, the King Viserys did mention they all have their own personal agendas. It's just one sticking out a little bit further, worked out in his favor, and he just took advantage of the king of the queen's death. And we talked about this in between the scene between him and Otto, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, we see this really settle here, and we see Rhaenyra really struggling of just, what do I do now that I can't find a suitor? It's just like,
yeah. Which I like the scene where, she expresses that frustration with Alicent. Yeah. Because, you kind of see them.
We haven't had that connection in a while.
Yeah, we kind of see them.
At least since they got married. Yeah.
Reconcile a little bit. Yeah. Like, the things are okay with them after that scene where they're at like the party celebration, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And they express their frustrations to each other. I like that. I really did, because I feel like like you say, we haven't seen that connection since Alicent did marry the king, and that caused a lot of strain on their relationship.
Yeah,
and their friendship.
And then we also get into the realm of what women's conditions were at this realm in this era.
Yeah, Rhaenyra says that.
What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna be a housewife essentially and just bear children, and that's it. That's all I'm good for.
She called it being a prisoner who is only destined to squeeze out heirs. And Alicent,
that's what she's doing.
Feels that.
That's what she's doing.
That really hits a nerve with that, because she really is living that.
And speaking of that, what happens later that night too? Viserys, what happens? Oh man, she's like wounding his wounds. And like she's asleep. She's
still very kind to him.
Yeah,
she's still very kind to the king. I'm sure she really cares about him, but
I don't know if she loves him, but yeah,
I'm sure she's growing too, because it's been like 4 years at this point since they got married. She's had several children, at least 2 that we know of. Yeah. Because she's no longer pregnant in this episode.
In this one, yeah.
So she's borne him several children. And I think she does care for him. I think she does love him, but I do think she feels that she's just useful as a person to bear children. I really feel like she doesn't have that blood like royalty like Rhaenyra does. Rhaenyra is blood Targaryen, right? She's royalty by blood. So she has a little bit more freedom than Alicent. Alicent will no longer be useful
when she stops having kids.
Right, so she kind of starts to feel that.
But the king tells her, hey, I need you in the middle of the night. Let's do a quickie real quick, knock out that quickie. And knowing her, where her state, her facial expression says it all. And he's looking the other way. Yeah. The king's even looking the other way. And then he says, "Are you okay?" Like after like he's finished.
Yeah.
And it really shows her side of it as, you know, she is a prisoner in a way, in a weird way.
She is. And, you know, you really start to feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Like for her environment.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
She does feel like a prisoner. And you feel that. You start to feel, you see that concern and like unhappiness in her face and her eyes and stuff. So that was I like that scene. We get to see a little bit more about Alicent. We haven't seen too much besides like what she's like. She's now queen. She has a son, but we get to see more her.
More her dynamic here, and more in depth of her character and everything. So, and then furthermore, we actually get to see Rhaenyra step out into the wild side here. She stepped out into King's Landing.
She escapes into King's Landing, dressed, disguised
as a commoner.
As a commoner.
Sorry.
So yeah, she takes her first real like sneaky little side trip with Daemon. Daemon escorts her into King's Landing.
Yeah.
And then they end up.
Okay, so they end up in a brothel, right? They did, and it was an orgy brothel, and
so much.
Yeah, it's a lot of pleasure. It's a pleasure house. Let's call it a pleasure house. An orgy where everyone everyone gets nude and everyone has their own romantic time in a way. You know, it's all about lust. It's all about, you know, sex. That's all it is. And in a way though, I kind of called it a little bit. And it's we're gonna talk about it further in depth because it does add context to the very end of the story here of this episode. But furthermore, you know, it was definitely disturbing watching Rhaenyra get real intimate with her uncle Daemon,
like half intimate.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, she was getting very excited whenever she knew it was her uncle. And so she kind of got that little excitement there. I think it was both.
I don't think it was like the taboo of it being a relative because the Targaryens are known to mate with their brother. Yes, within their family. Yeah. And it wasn't even that outlandish of an idea because at one point, I know Viserys wanted to wed her to her baby brother.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not a taboo. Like, I don't think she got excited by that. Like, oh, I shouldn't. I think she was more excited about that she shouldn't because she's not married. Yeah. Because it's essentially forbidden, especially forbidden for her as an unwed
She just
lady.
Loves breaking the rules. She gets a turn out by breaking the rules. She really does.
But Daemon and all of his badness can't go through with it.
Yeah, I mean, it goes as far as her bring down her pants and like.
It goes a little far. It doesn't go all the way.
It doesn't go all the way, but God, it gets close. Like God,
so Daemon stops it. Daemon stops it.
Yeah, he hits the wall and takes off, leaves her there, and which is kind of messed up. But
she isn't done.
No, sir. No, ma'am. She ain't done. No, she's not.
So she is now understanding
of the sexual level that she could feel.
She is understanding that she's okay to have these feelings.
Saying she had a really good time with Sir Christian. That's all I'm saying. Sir Christian did a good job. Yes, he was a good pick. Wasn't he? Come on, isn't he better than David? Or
I like Sir Christian Cole, but yes. So they do the deed.
But you like Matt Smith too, so it's just
I like Matt Smith too. But Rhaenyra does end up doing the deed with Sir Kristen Cole.
Yeah, man, get down and dirty. Yeah, that was a good scene. I don't care what anyone says. That was a really good intimate scene. I feel like it wasn't like it was more for her. It was for her being her very first experience. That was really good. I enjoyed like because you get to see again. We're seeing the eyes through Rhaenyra in a way to where we haven't seen in a woman's perspective at all in Game of Thrones. Really, I mean, we got a little bit because it was just like everyone, Sansa, Arya, but like. To really have the main focus, because for me, I think the main focus is Rhaenyra a lot in this whole.
Most of the sex scenes from Game of Thrones are like for the men.
Yeah, exactly. So this one, I think, is for the woman, and I love that.
It's from her perspective.
I love it because it's something different, And also, we get a sense, because this is actually directed by a woman director, which we need more of. We really do in Hollywood.
And she does, in the little blurb behind the scenes, behind the episode, she does explain that they had to be very careful in shooting this scene.
Yes.
Because they wanted it to be from a woman's perspective.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I really do.
And the thing is, though, and she mentioned, too, that Damon gets so overwhelmed to where he can't do it. He's always been the one to love the control. But when he got intimate with Rhaenyra was going to take control, and he didn't like it that women want sex more than he does, in a way. And he's explained that in the behind the scenes thing. She explained it a lot.
And he kind of does also tussle with, he knows it's wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows what he's doing is wrong.
Of course. And and at the same time, though, I kind of feel like he wants to hurt the king, his brother. He does, but he's all like, but I care about Rhaenyra, so I'm just like, but it was definitely interesting to see Rhaenyra with Sir Christian. I called it. I really did. I was excited. I mean, I'm happy she chose him rather than.
I do, but I don't know if their relationship will continue, which is sad because I like them too.
I have a feeling it will stay the same.
I hope so.
Hopefully, the word doesn't come out that she's no longer a virgin.
Well, that brings us to our next.
Well, before we get into that, Angela, let's talk about Otto. How a great outcome that captain.
That is the same topic because
Otto snitches. Snitches get stitches, bro. Snitches get stitches. Stitches to the king.
Otto gets word from his little
birds, right? Little birds. Like Viserys.
Right?
Yeah.
He has spies.
Yes, spies
in
everywhere.
King's Landing.
There's spies everywhere.
Who found Rhaenyra leaving the pleasure house.
Yeah.
Reports it to Otto right away. Yeah. And who does Otto go to first? Obviously the king, right? He knows that this piece of information, this gossip, this rumor is damning evidence for Rhaenyra, right? And he hopes. I know he probably is so remorseful. I'm so sorry. I don't want to bring in these bad news. Blah, blah, blah. No, in his heart, he knows this is good news for him because he wants any excuse for his grandson to be named heir. Any excuse at any cost.
Did you also recognize that in that scene where Damon wakes up, that common whore that he calls the common whore, that's the little boy gives her money, and that same is the same little boy that told. So I'm curious to see, maybe he was told by her, the common whore, to tell. It might be all. I'm feeling it might be all connected.
I'm pretty sure it's all connected.
That he had that way. He has a snitch on Damon. Whatever he's doing, he always goes to that common whore. So what I'm saying?
I think so, because you obviously see in that scene too, her dynamic with Damon is very different.
Yeah.
So obviously,
I think it's almost like a professional relationship in a way.
No, before, I think she really cared about him because he brought her, I think in episode 2, to is it Dragonstone?
Oh yeah.
To be married as his second wife.
Yeah.
She cared about him. Something changed. So if she is, the snitch, the mole in the ground, as you will, I believe it. Okay. Because I think she's a little bit more cold to him in this episode.
Definitely.
Something happened.
Something definitely happened there. Otto's no longer in the picture, man. I love that. I love how he's no longer the hand of the king. He snitches to Viserys, and not only that, but Alicent actually heard it too.
Yeah, so Alicent heard it. She confronts Rhaenyra, wants the truth. Rhaenyra tells her the truth. She doesn't lie. She kind of half lies.
Yeah, it's a little half girl. It's a half lie.
She doesn't say. She tells the truth. She did not sleep with Damon. She did not have relations with her uncle.
But she made out with him.
But
almost went all the way.
She wasn't entirely truthful when she said she's still a maiden. She's still a virgin. No, that's not.
Yeah, that's a lie.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. She is not a virgin no more. Nope. Sir Christian made sure of that. Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes. But yes, I know, yeah. So when the king eventually confronts Rhaenyra, she does tell him the truth. He says, "Who told you this? You were told this?"
And Otto's
and who's the one who's responsible for this? Yeah. Otto. Why? And she pieces it together. Very smart.
Yeah.
Very accurately.
And she brings it to Viserys' attention that look at what Otto's doing. He has spies on me because he wants the throne. He wants his grandson to take the throne, your son, to take the throne.
They worded it very perfectly in the behind the scenes. Like, yes, she may have done things she wasn't supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But there were spies who were trying to find her to do that. They had to be spies to report back to what she was
not only
doing.
that, but let's talk about the whole dynamic real quick of, between gender issues here. What we see, and I love how Rhaenyra mentions this so many times. I love her when she does this because what does she say, Angela? And I know you love this scene. She tells her father, if I was a man and I bedded 2 women, or what?
No, she says essentially.
Angela remembers it,
she says essentially like if she were a man and she fathered like 15
there you go. Yeah.
different. Like she calls them bastards.
Baratheon did one time.
Yeah, so if she fathers like 15 different children, it wouldn't be an issue.
Nope.
But the king reminds her,
well, you're not a man,
but you were born a woman.
So and essentially, he's confirming that. He really is, because he doesn't deny it. He confirms that. But also, we get a little bit of a twist. Not necessarily a twist, but we get more to deep dive into the whole prophecy here. Whenever
we get a little bit more
Viserys,
connection to Game of Thrones,
which is the same dagger that Arya used to kill the White Walker. So that was awesome.
So the inscription on that, when it's heated up, as she reads it, is something we've heard before from Game of Thrones. It's the prophecy, the blood of the promise, or the prince that was promised.
The prince that was promised.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Et cetera, et cetera. So that was very exciting. That whole little
the Easter dagger. I didn't know the dagger could do that. That was really cool.
I didn't know that's
I am
really
very, very interested if they make a replica. HBO Game of Thrones makes a replica of that, because I'll definitely buy that, because that dagger in itself is going to be the key. Just like Jon Snow's blade was like the iconic blade of of Game of Thrones. I feel like this might be this dagger might be the whole icon symbol of the blades. Yeah, because it's Valyrian steel, just like Jon Snow's.
But it's also relevant not only in Game of Thrones but in this series too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's possible.
So it's gonna have the connection between both series, really. And so now no longer Otto's no longer the king. I mean, the king's hand anymore. Yep. He caught him. He called him out. Mm-hmm. He said, "Now I understand. I understand how calculated everything was." I love how I just love the word choices here.
Finally, Viserys sees what us as audience members have been seeing
the whole time.
And he even says, "In 5 days, you became just a regular person on my council."
That was interesting.
The second most powerful man in Westeros,
and that we did not know. It was never brought up to our attention.
Makes sense. Yep. It makes sense.
Yep. He went from a commoner to a commoner court person,
just a member on the council,
to the second most powerful person in the realm. Exactly where he put it.
And that is very eye-opening. And at the end of that speech where he's talking to Otto, he does, unfortunately, happily, boop.
Happily for us, unfortunately. I don't know though. I kind of feel like this is gonna put I'm happy, right? We are happy for this. We are happy for this outcome. But for Viserys, though, this is not good. This is terrible, because now who can he trust? Who's going to put as the hand? Is he going to put his daughter as the hand?
The next burning question. I don't think he would, to be honest.
Again, we haven't read the book. We haven't read the books, guys, so we're speculating here, and I love that we haven't read the books, because it's more of a surprising for us, and it gets more excited because we're not going to read the books. We want to speculate. And I love that, because it's just like anything can happen. But I could see him putting Rhaenyra in it. But I don't know.
I don't think so, because she's
or he just leaves it an open vacant seat.
No, you have to have someone filled it, I think. So the next burning question is who?
Daemon?
I think
he just banished him again.
Well, I think possibly to make amends, because at the very end of
Corlys,
I do think it could be Corlys, because at the very end of Viserys' discussion with Rhaenyra, he tells her, "I'm telling you now, you're gonna marry Corlys' son, son of the sea snake."
You can't. It's all right. You're not allowed to have sex with your uncle, but you can have sex with your first cousin. It's all good.
Again, I don't think it was. Yeah. I don't think it was like the relation that was like the messed up thing. It's just because I think she has to be pure when she marries.
It's just weird, man. That's weird. That's her cousin. That's her first cousin.
It's cousin. Anyways, so I think they're gonna do that marriage proposal. We see a little bit sneak peek in the upcoming episode that's the proposal that he's gonna go with Corlys. But also, it would make sense if he offers Hands of the King.
Yeah, and then also, that's good. And then also, we'll see. Now that he'll get the Navy back on his
he'll get the fleet, the might that Corlys brings.
Yep.
So that is my hypothesis, that Corlys might be the new hand. Now, does he trust Corlys? I think Corlys would be a good hand of the king? I don't think so.
I don't know. I really have no...
If he was so quick to
just leave and betray and go with Daemon.
Just at a rejected proposal.
It's kind of hard to trust him.
It's really hard.
I wouldn't do it, but again, that's just me putting at a stake to where he's at. It's very hard because we really don't know who else, unless they bring in a new character to where he might think he trusts.
He could also promote within the council. I think there was one of the Lannister twins who actually was really nice and actually gave him pretty good advice. Remember when in the last episode where, he's like, no, not marry me, but have her marry so-and-so, so I think he might be a good person,
and that's how it starts. But mention that the last very scene here where it ends. So talk about that scene where with the Maester.
Maester brings her a mystery tea, if you will, and tells her to drink it because the king has tasked him with creating it specially for her. She doesn't know what it is, doesn't know why. And he basically explains, I take good care, he basically says, like, I had to be very careful with this because of its properties. And
it's essentially
the king...
Like, we never knew this could happen, though. We really didn't.
It's implied.
It's Plan B, girl.
It's Plan implied B. That the king ordered it because it's to unrid her of unwanted consequences.
I love that.
But there's so much more.
I know. The tea. I just love how polite it is. It really is. Like, not saying relations. This is definitely different than what I've heard in a while. Obviously, not using the word sex.
I think it's because they don't want people to know.
True.
So I don't think they want to say it outright because it, like, you speak it makes it true.
Yeah.
But also, it really stands by the king having the Maester concoct this potion, tea. He does not believe Rhaenyra.
Nope.
He does not believe Rhaenyra. He doesn't believe Alicent. He, in his mind, believes that the rumors of her and Daemon hooking up are true.
Or at least...
And that's disheartening. You can see that
at least to give the king, benefit of the doubt. At least he believes that she had sex with somebody that night.
No, I don't think. I think it was he heard. At least Otto only reported. That
maybe you're right. Yeah, I guess you're right. Because Daemon never denied it, and he wanted to. That was the thing. He wanted to wed her.
Daemon never denied it, and he wanted to wed her. Said, "I will take her as she is in her condition, and then it's all good." And Alicent even proposes to the king. Rhaenyra is not deceitful in her nature.
Yeah.
But Daemon is.
Daemon is, yep.
He is quick to lie.
Oh, Daemon, man. I don't hate him. That's the problem. I don't hate him.
I think the internet loves Daemon.
I hate his actions that he does. I really do. Like, if that makes any sense.
He can't help.
No, he could.
It's just that's who he is. And you're just like, God, Daemon.
Exactly, guys. But yeah, hey, this is definitely was definitely a really good episode. What would you give this rating on this episode?
Probably 9 because it was shocking. Like, it had so much shock value. Like, you're like, no.
I'm excited because this whole episode was like a setup for the next one, which, like, the whole fight breaks out.
It looks
Sir Christian goes out there. Koyas is back. We get a lot of going for the throne in a way. And
we get a little bit more also, like,
and the Viserys is dying. Yeah.
I mean, we see that more because his ailments are getting worse, like his sores and everything. Yep. When in that scene with Alicent, late at night, it's all over his body.
It's spreading.
He's sick. He's sick.
And also, guys, it feels like, I mean, obviously it's just everyone's upset that if the king dies, a woman has to lead. No one's happy that a woman, even the commoner people we saw in the play, not even the common people are happy about it.
So that is like, it's
definitely an obstacle for Rhaenyra.
Getting to that tipping point.
Yeah.
I know we're only 4 episodes and we have 10, I believe.
And we talked about it last because they did mention the king's going to die. So we predict that by after episode 5, we feel like we're going to get that time jump there. I feel like it's going to be the right time. We talked about it off camera that we kind of speculate it's going to be the right time to bring in the older actresses to come in as Rhaenyra and Alicent. So definitely going to be sad to see them go. Maybe they'll do maybe bring a flashback, maybe. I don't know. It's definitely because I'm so invested already with these actresses. I'm just like, that's Rhaenyra. Like that is Rhaenyra.
Yeah. But I'm sure the older actresses are just as fabulous.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait. Yeah. But yeah, I do think it's not going to be too much longer. I think maybe after the next episode.
Again, I think it's
probably
when
we'll see. Yeah, we'll probably see the older versions.
Definitely, guys. But yeah, the question is for you guys. What did you think of this? What you think of this whole episode? Put in comments down below. Are you for this whole House of the Dragon, or are you just like, no, it ain't Game of Thrones. It has nothing. It's not. No, but. What I've been hearing a lot of comments and everything, everyone's enjoying it. I really am. Everyone, you know how I know everyone's enjoying it? Because they're mad that Otto's be able to do all this. I'm like, you're enjoying this show, man. Don't deny it. When you start actually getting mad at certain characters, you already enjoy the damn show. Yeah. That's it. It's just like reality TV. When you hate someone in one of the characters in any show, TV show, reality TV, movie, you fell in love with the host, with the whole movie in itself. Because you invested your time already in it, and it's like, boom. All right, but yeah, questions for you guys. What do you think of this whole episode here? Put comments down below. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that cat lady Angela.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. Thank you for sticking with us this long. If you listen to us on our podcast platform, hit that like, share, subscribe button, guys. And thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Stay safe, San Antonio. Catch you later.